months after the release of Black Ops 2 would follow the first DLC of the Black Ops 2 season. And within the first DLC season, we would be introduced to a zombies map called Die Rise. Now, while Die Rise is a very interesting map, like I've said for a bunch of maps, I personally am not a big fan of this map. I think there's a lot of aspects of this map that I don't personally enjoy, and I mean that might be a common consensus with a lot of people, but there's also some things I really like about the map, so let's get into it right. So, Die Rise is 3 skyscrapers, and basically you go from one skyscraper to the other to the other. And that's basically the whole thing of the map really, and you basically have to kind of parkour your way around. So it's kind of a nightmare for newish players, because new players aren't going to understand to jump or anything. So if they play this map, yeah, it might be a bit over for them. Now, this map, Die Rise, of course, introduced a brand new perk, a brand new wonder weapon. Let's talk about the perk first. Who's Who? Who's Who, in my opinion, is the absolute worst wonder weapon of all time. Oh, not wonder weapon, the absolute worst perk of all time. I can't believe I said wonder weapon. Anyway, the absolute worst perk of all time. Who's Who is so bad. And I mean so bad. I know people are like, oh, but there's some benefits, but Quick Revive literally just does the job Who's Who does. Who's Who's just yeah, okay, let me talk about Who's Who. So, Who's Who is a perk where if you go down, you will basically come back with just a pistol, and you have the ability to revive yourself or go to the end of the round, and then you'll come back in. With that, you have to survive whatever round it is about a horde of zombies, which that in itself is a bit of a problem, especially if it's high rounds and you have Who's Who. And then from that, obviously revive yourself. As soon as you revive yourself, it's fine. You get all your weapons back. I believe you get all your perks back, but the perk just isn't worth it on solo when you have the likes of Quick Revive. Multiplayer, there's probably a bit more of an argument for it to be useful in multiplayer, but even then, not really. Just get jug speed and double tap. Honestly. Now, we've talked about the perk. Let's talk about let's talk about the good thing about the map. The wonder weapon, the Slickerfire. The Slickerfire is a buildable wonder weapon, our second buildable wonder weapon. Actually, you'll see that as a common theme throughout most of BO2, is a lot of the wonder weapons are buildable, apart from 2 maps where you get them from the bots or some Easter egg. And this is probably the second best buildable wonder weapon behind, actually, in BO2, behind the likes of the staffs. Now, what this wonder weapon does, the Slickerfire, is it basically shoots like this goo over the floor or at zombies, and zombies will basically go around and they'll trip over and stuff like that basically. And while that's not useful, you can just, if you get enough of the goo on the floor, they'll eventually all slip over to the point where they die. And yeah, that's just really useful. It's a very, very, very useful wonder weapon. Now, like I say, the way you build it is you build it around power, so around the power area. And once it's been built, I think the only way you can get it is through the bots. But even then, I think only one player can actually have it if you're playing co-op. Now, I'm not too certain if this is true or not, but I don't know if you need it for the Easter egg. I think you do for one step. I don't know if it's Maxis or Richtofen's steps, but basically the tiger statues in Spawn, you need it for, I think. Talking about the Easter egg, the Maxis and the Richthofen sides come back once again. Obviously the Maxis side is the canon one, but you can do whatever one really. There's a brand new enemy type, Jumping Jacks, which are basically the crawler zombies from 5, Kino, and Moon, but now they can jump over the place, which is a bit insane. And yeah, it's just a bit crazy, it's a bit insane. Now, of course, this is another Victus Crew map, of course, which is good. I'm glad Victus Crew are, having the ability to have some more maps, you know how it be. But yeah, and something a little bit cool about this map, before we get to some like the trivia and like my overall opinion on the map, is at the end when you game over, it actually hints towards the next map being mobbed with the ending like music, because it's like because you hear keys, and then you hear a door be slammed, and it's basically, you know, implied a prison cell. Now to some of the trivia. Molten was actually not seen in the teaser trailer for this map, of course, because obviously called Rookie, of course. This, of course, caused some rumors that Molten might end up getting replaced by a new character. However, a zombie that resembles Molten was appeared multiple times in the trailer. So basically, the loaded like trailer thing, or the loading cutscene, it's obviously only got Misty, Rustman, and Sulager. So you're probably wondering, like, where they are. And, well, yeah, they're around. In the Wii version of Kingdom of the Totem, I don't know why, a radio about the Great Leap Forward could be heard, which is, yeah, insane. Die-Rise is a pun on High-Rise, which is actually, funny enough, the code name for this map, ZM_High-Rise. PhD Flopper is actually found on this map, and I know about this. So when you go down the elevator, so when you're in spawn, you can either go through the door and you can go down that way, or you can go down the elevator, which will lead you towards power. Now, if you take the elevator route, you'll see PhD Flopper in one of the hallways as you're going down. It's not obtainable, and it seems like Treyarch probably just added it in as a bit of banter, a bit of, you know, fuck you. Not fuck you, but like a bit of this troll to the players. And this will be the last time we see a PhD Flopper be trolled to us once again. We will see them again in the next map, actually. Now, you probably see around that the zombies, there's like an armored zombie, or like a military style zombie, and this zombie actually takes a lot more health, a lot more damage to be killed. So, on round 1, you can like one-hit zombies, right? However, if you have those armored zombies, it'll take 2 hits to kill them, which is just a bit shit. Well, not a bit shit, but you know, it's a bit unfair. Obviously, actually, I don't know. It might actually be pretty useful considering the fact you can get more points from that. But yeah, if you are playing solo and you have quick revive and you fall off the building, you actually spawn back in with all your weapons in the side room, which is, I think, really cool. I'm kind of glad that feature is in there instead of them just saying like screw you, you know. Now, the comic book loading screen is obviously back. The comic book loading screen will stay here into Origins, and then Origins it'll go away. But it depicts another page behind it, of course, which that is the buried loading screen, by the way. And then there's a postcard on the left, which is also the green run loading screen stuff. So, I think that's enough trivia. Let's talk a little bit about this map. So, my overall opinion on this map is I think this map is a very interesting one, and while I don't enjoy it as much as, like, you know, the next 3 maps, I will always play this every now and then, because why not? It's fun. However, I will say this is probably my second least favourite BO2 map. Obviously, I think Transit's still my least favourite, and if you were to ask me where I put this in a tier list, I'd probably put it D tier. Now this was obviously the final map of like a period where Treyarch were really struggling with maps, in my opinion, because it seemed like Transit didn't really do well, Die-Rise didn't really do well, and Nuketown was okay, but Nuketown was a survival map. So obviously there was a lot of questions from the community, like what's going on, like why is Zombies suddenly not doing as good, and obviously eventually this ended up being kind of taken away once we get to Mob, which, yes, Mob of the Dead is the next map, of course. But yeah, Die-Rise is, I think, Treyarch once again trying to be very ambitious with their ideas, but unfortunately not executing them that well. I think the idea of doing skyscrapers are really cool, but I think requiring some aspects of parkour would definitely alienate the newer players, and definitely would cause a lot of confusion, even with some of the hardcore players. And because of that, I think the map kind of suffered. Obviously, there was the trampoline, there was the slick fire, there was Who's Who, which Who's Who's is just a failed idea of a perk, and probably a reason why they didn't really introduce many new perks in Black Ops 3. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. I will see you Boppets in the next one. Peace.